One day, someone you thought was dead returns to your life from the most unexpected place. What would you do? Asterisk, my name is Adel. If you've watched my previous videos, you know me. I have to tell this story, because the more I stay silent, the more the past chases me and grows inside me. Asterisk, years ago I lost someone, or so I thought. My brother Elias, on the night I didn't see his lifeless body. Raindrops hit the windows like tombstones. They told me, he's gone now, couldn't be saved, but a voice inside me kept shouting, he didn't die. Asterisk, after that day I lived as if I had buried half my heart in the ground. With the remaining half I learned how to hate. Asterisk, Elias was not just my brother. He was my refuge, my harbor. Life hadn't treated us fairly. Our mother and father had died very early. We were each other's world. Until that cursed night found us. Asterisk, it all started because of Daniel. He was my brother's closest friend. He was also the secret owner of my heart. Daniel was once the man whose smile warmed me. But that smile eventually burned me to ash. Asterisk, Elias went into a major business partnership with him. But Daniel's eyes were set on higher things. Elias's belief in justice clashed with Daniel's craving for power. One morning Elias found a file. In that file were documents exposing the company's money laundering links and Daniel's illegal dealings. That evening he started a sentence to me with, Adel, if anything happens to me. But that sentence never finished, because that night his car plunged off a cliff. Asterisk, the police closed the case as a driving under the influence accident. But Elias never even drank. That file disappeared along with that night. When Daniel comforted me, he looked at me in such a way that his gaze was a veil of fog hiding the truth. Asterisk, months later, being with him felt like fate's cruel joke. Was it love? Or an escape from pain? I didn't know. Now I know. He didn't mend my wounds. He merely carved his name over them. Asterisk, years passed. Time didn't heal my pain. It ripened my hatred. One morning the world began to turn again with an email that arrived in my inbox. Asterisk, from Elias. Subject, love in the shadows. There was a photo attached. My brother looked at me from a distant country with a deep scar on his face and a dark vow in his eyes. Under it he had written only this sentence, Asterisk, now it's your turn. Adel, Asterisk, the only thought that went through my heart in that moment was this, so he's alive. And the time for revenge has come. Asterisk, Elias's plan was ready. While living underground for years, he had examined every stone of Daniel's empire. He had mapped the chain of money laundering for Daniel's newly founded investment firm and the people he had bought. My task was clear. Get close to him. To slip back into Daniel's life like a shadow. Asterisk, years later I returned to New York. When he saw me, the surprise in his eyes lasted only a moment. Daniel had always been a man who hid his feelings. Adel, he said, it's a miracle you're alive. But the real miracle was that my heart was still beating as I looked at his face. That heart no longer belonged to him. My brother's revenge had risen above every feeling I had. Asterisk, I drew closer to him again. As if we were in the old days, I smiled and acted as though I had forgiven the past. I showed him affection. Daniel liked that. Yet every word I spoke was like a knife. It only waited to be plunged in when the time came. Asterisk, one night at a private event Daniel turned to me and said, Elias loved you very much. His voice stabbed my chest like a knife blown by the wind. I couldn't protect you when we lost him. No, I said. You didn't protect me. You protected your secrets. Asterisk, in that moment his eyes darkened. His lies began to strike his face one by one. Because Elias had told me everything. The files, the bribes, who had planned the crash. But at that moment I did not want to kill him. Not yet. My revenge would not be rushed. It would be taken with grace. Elias's plan was much deeper. Victoria, Daniel's partner, was the one who had placed alcohol in the steering wheel on my brother's fatal night. Posing as Daniel's lover, she was simultaneously stealing shareholders' secrets. Now that woman was my playground. Asterisk, meeting Victoria was not fate but part of the plan. She thought herself powerful and untouchable. I befriended her. I won her trust. One evening, as we clinked champagne glasses, I whispered in her ear, Elias sends his regards. The glass slipped from her hand. Her face drained. I watched her with pleasure. The next day, documents exposing financial corruption in her office were leaked to the press. She lost her reputation. She had to sell her shares. That was only the beginning. Asterisk, Daniel still believed everything was under control, until Elias infiltrated the company's internal audit team under a fake name. One night he sent me a secret file. Asterisk, the final act is yours, Adel. Asterisk, in that file were all the names, account numbers and evidence of Daniel's money laundering chain. But it wasn't only that. Elias had sent a second file to me. Inside was a childhood photo of us. Under it a note read, Asterisk, if you've forgotten me, the meaning of our revenge is lost. Asterisk, that night I cried. For the first time in years I really shed tears. Because I realized that while we were pursuing revenge, we had buried our brotherhood in a grave. But there was no turning back now. The final night came and Daniel hosted me at his mansion. I wore my red dress. The same dress I had worn years ago on Elias's birthday. The night of the accident. A kind of memory, a kind of curse, as he looked at me in the candlelight. He said, "Let's leave the past behind, Adele." I smiled. "I never left the past, Daniel. I only hid in its shadow." I released the secret files from his computer to the media. Within minutes, his photos, incriminating documents, and court orders lit up every screen. He took a step toward me. You were with Elias." "Yes," I said. "I was with the brother who survived what you called an accident." The expression on his face was the sweetest moment of all revenges. That shock, that guilt, that fear were clear on his face. But I did not want him dead. I wanted him condemned to live every day, and every moment with Elias's curse. By morning the media had destroyed him. His fortune, his company, his reputation, all reduced to ashes. When I left the mansion, the foggy morning was silent. In a corner, Elias waited for me. The scar on his face was no longer frightening. It looked like a sacred mark. He came up beside me slowly. "It's over," he said. But I shook my head. "No, Elias, nothing is over. Because now you are a stranger to me." Then he understood. How revenge had poisoned us and turned brotherhood into enmity. Perhaps our greatest loss was not Daniel. It was each other. Elias went away again. This time for real. I continued to live in the shadows of New York. I buried my brother's ghost a second time with my own hands. Sometimes at night when the wind knocks on my window I hear his voice. Adel. Did revenge make you strong? Each time I answer the same thing. No. It only turned me into a shadow echoing in an emptiness. Now you will ask me. Is there a happy ending? Don't ask. No one in the story. Neither I nor he, neither my brother nor love itself. Only one truth remains: some wounds don't close. They just turn into shadows. Do you think Adele took her brother's revenge by the right method? Would you fight for our brother's revenge? I'm waiting for your comments on our video.